Hello and welcome back to Anywhere But Here, episode 288. My name is Tom.
And my name's Ant.
And you can find us at abhpod.com, where if you scroll down, there is an Amazon banner. If you click through that Amazon banner, you will go to amazon.co.uk, where you can do all your spending as you normally would. You buy everything off Amazon, right? But we get 5% of what you spend. It doesn't mean that you spend 5% more. It just means that we take 5% off Amazon. Like, they give us 5% of the money that you spend, and we can then use that to pay for our internet hosting.
That's it. And like most people, we forget to use that Amazon banner when we go there because it's just second nature to go there. No fret, you can still support us if you use the Patreon banner on our website, abhpod.com. It's right near the Amazon banner. That will take you through to Patreon, where for just a single unit of your local currency, whether that be $1 or £1, I can never remember what it is now, you get extra content, so you still get something for your money. So it's a regular monthly contribution you make to us, but we will give you after the podcasts, which are exclusive to our Patreon channel. We give you spoiler casts when we record them, so the week we record them, rather than waiting for months down the line when they might come out on the main feed. You get them as and when we record them. You'll get video content a bit earlier than on our main feed, stuff like that, and it all gets delivered into a special feed. There is a special RSS feed on our Patreon website once you've signed in, and you can put that into your podcast app that you use, and it will download all that extra audio content for you automatically. You don't have to go looking for it like you used to on our old abhpod.com website. It's convenient.
Indeed. You can find us out there to have a chat with us on all the social media platforms. We're on Twitter at ABHpod, on Facebook.com/ABHpod, and we're on YouTube as well, youtube.com/ABHpodcast.
Yeah, alternatively, you can email us abhpod@gmail.com.
This episode, there were a couple of little technical issues, so there's a split somewhere, in about half an hour's time.
It's a game, see if you can spot it. We don't point it out at all.
But yeah, it's one of those ones. We've not done this on the correct day for a very long time. Mm-hmm. So we're still in lockdown. We're still learning to live with lockdown 3, and we're feeling a bit introspective and a bit reflective about the whole of the last year, bearing in mind that we've been in this situation now for nearly an entire year. Getting used to stuff like home learning, home working, and also practicing music, because at some point when we are let out, we want to get into a practice room together and play some songs, because we're missing human interaction. Sorry, I've taken this entire intro on myself.
It's fine. Enjoy.
This is the first time that we've recorded on the actual Sunday since like the beginning of December.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. And I think it's the first one that's just us two.
Yes. No, the one at the end of December was the one before Christmas was us.
Yes.
And then it was Greg and Joe, and then it was Andrew.
Yeah, okay, cool. But it's been a while anyway. It's been a bit.
Yeah.
But
so it's weird. It's weird being back, and nothing has changed in all that time.
We got snow today.
We've got a white February yet again. It seems to be the case. February's and our podcast and snow.
Yeah, it seems something's going on with the climate that's changing weather patterns and when stuff happens. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it can be explained.
Yeah. What could possibly be doing that, I wonder? Yeah. Did you watch any of the Attenborough Perfect Planet documentaries?
No.
Oh, there was
I even know about them.
Yeah, they were on over January, so there were 4 episodes, I think. And
cool.
Yeah, the last one was basically about how mankind is fucking everything up.
Oh, okay.
But also highlighting, various initiatives that are being put underway to try and, stop it.
So is this a like a follow up or like a tack on to his documentary that he did before like he did last year? It was released in the cinemas. what was it like?
Yeah, that was the Netflix one, wasn't it?
Yeah, they put it on Netflix, but there was some showings in the theaters as well when they were happening. We watched that on Netflix, and that was it was like it's Attenborough, so it was beautiful, it was great, but it was also quite harrowing.
Netflix allowed him to get away with showing a lot more nasty stuff, and he was much more kind of preachy about which I think is right. About climate and stuff.
Yeah, it's like he's preachy, but it's at the same time it's just like, here's how it is.
It's for the right reason.
This is what we're doing.
It's a lecture more than it is preaching. I think I used the wrong word, but yeah, absolutely. It was much more like we were being told off.
Yeah, but it's based on your perspective, isn't it? Like we have made no allusion to the fact that we believe the science. We're not conspiracy theorists at all. If you're a conspiracy theorist, you'll find it preachy. If you're like, if you believe the science,
or if you're in denial,
it's a lecture, isn't it? But yeah, it is definitely like being told off. I think you're quite right there. But
also like the animal scenes and stuff where like were a lot more harrowing, I think is the right word. Like those walruses that go up to the top of the walruses that go up to the top of the cliffs and then get chased by polar bears and throw themselves off was horrific.
Yeah, and like, people are like, well, that's just nature. And it's like, well, no, that's polar bears being desperate for food.
Yeah.
So they're chasing the walruses, and the walruses have nowhere to go because it's all melted and crumbled away.
Just a sec, I'm being... Yeah? Okay. Sorry, dinner will be being prepped in the background.
Oh, that's fair enough.
But it's cool. Like,
yeah. And
we're
now,
quietly.
Give me a second. What was that? Your tripod. It was down here just now.
And it's being pestered for a tripod for Chloe, I think. So we're both being...
It was down here. Right. That was weird. Oh, we started ages ago. You can't start until I've got my tripod. Well, sorry, mate. Hang on. Fuck knows.
I may not. I'm probably not going to edit that out.
No, there's no point. It's life. It's what's going on with
exactly.
the world. Yeah. No, I didn't realise that Amber had what they BBC clearly.
Yes,
I would imagine.
Yeah, they were back on the BBC.
I'll have to, and Perfect Planet. I'll have to look those up because I always want to watch Amber.
Yeah, I mean, I think they kind of they focused on one element of the weather, I think, mainly.
Right.
So there were like storms and volcanoes and something else, and then the last one was how humans were doing it. But it had like 2 or 3 other talking heads through it, like social, like environmentalists and scientists and an economist as well.
Which is good because usually you've got it from David Attenborough's perspective, who is
a naturalist.
He's a naturalist, isn't he? But it's quite. I suppose it is useful to get the actual professional doctors, scientists who deal with that aspect in. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I definitely will give that a look though.
Yeah, very much worth a watch. I can't quite remember why I got onto that, but global warming.
That was it. Yeah.
And the fact that it's snowing a storm outside.
Oh, hang on.
Which Joe was out running in.
Nice. I used to do that. I found it.
Why? Oh, there it is.
It's literally next
the tripod
to you.
Is there.
Yeah, it was literally next to me. Oh, getting told. I have run in this sort of weather before. Or after this sort of weather where it was a bit icy, so it got... So it got a bit... It was a bit dangerous for going out running. Like going when it's like this, when it's just laying, is perfectly fine. But going after people have trampled it is a bit dodgy.
Well, that's when it gets compacted, isn't it, and slippery.
Yeah, I've taken recently. I brought myself like a a jump rope. Let's call it what it is. It's a skipping rope, but it's all right because it's one of those cables in PVC, so it's a proper fitness one. It's like
it's like it's one that boxers use.
Yeah, exactly, and it's got proper bearings, so you get in, But I brought one of those just to sort of keep fit and stuff, and fuck, man, that shit's hard.
Yeah,
and it does take it out. Yeah, but no, it's good. I've taken to doing it sort of like 3 times a week. Sort of like doing it as a bit of a warm up and then a little bit of strength stuff, getting back onto it. But I've kept up for a good sort of 3 weeks solid now. So
fair play.
Yeah, I'm getting back there. I'm getting back trying to get fit because I had put on quite a bit of weight.
Oh, really?
It's not, working from home.
Yeah.
Not going out and walking and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely put on a bit of weight.
This is why I force myself to go out a couple of times a week just to stave that off.
Sure. Yeah. It's good. And it is weird how like doing it consistent. I mean, we're trying to sort of watch what we eat as well because I don't know if you've ever tracked sort of how many calories you eat, like roughly. But
I am scared of doing that.
We've both got our own different apps, so we just scan the barcode. Sometimes the calories are a little bit off, so you're sort of either over or under by a couple of 100 calories.
Yeah.
But tracking it's bonkers how much you actually eat. But yeah, it's weird. Yeah. So we're sort of watching that now and being a bit more. And we're going along the lines of not saying, right, we can't have chocolate, we can't have sweets, we can't have this, we're more like, if we do have that, we can have a reasonable amount and it's going to impact what we can have for the rest of the day. Is that sort of thing? Like we're not restricting our diets in that sense, but yeah, it's good. And it's weird how much effect food and exercise does have on, like I'm getting really good night's sleep. I'm waking up at a decent time and going to bed at a decent time. And it's just weird. And I'm a lot more productive now. Like I'm managing to get my guitar practice in. I'm managing to study. I'm managing to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bonkers.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? How it does help. It all kind of adds up.
Yeah, for sure.
Talking of guitar practice as well, your amp works.
It does. My amp works. It does. Yeah. Classic guitar thing, though. I need to get myself some new cables because they're a bit dodgy.
Yeah. All cables are dodgy.
Yeah.
I got cables for Christmas this year. That's where I'm at.
It needs to happen. Like, yeah. So at work we've got there was an incentive going on, or it's still going on at the minute, whereas like if you manage to make a referral, so like speaking to a customer, the department I work in don't generally get to make these referrals because we're not in sales. But I was talking to a customer and they're like, oh yeah, no, actually that sounds like something we might want to do and blah, blah. So I was like, okay, here's the information, click the button, I made a referral. And I ended up winning like a £50 Amazon voucher, which is nice. Right. I'm waiting on that now, and then I'll probably spend it on guitar stuff.
Electrums, string cleaner,
possibly. Oh no, I've got a string cleaner for days, mate. I brought a pack of like 3 of the fast fret things, so
right,
got that for days. But yeah, it's. I think what I was actually looking at was these sort of like wireless sort of monitor systems.
Yeah, those yeah.
Not the wireless so like a cableless setup. That would be good actually, but no, it was the wireless monitor systems, which because
I've been looking at those wireless cable systems for a little while, the little kind of ones that look like key
little
fobs.
Cheapy ones. Yeah,
but then you're like, well, I always think with electronics you get what you pay for, don't you?
Yeah, and the thing is,
on something.
If you go for the cheap I don't know where the accent come from. If you go for the cheapy option, I don't know how much lag there's going to be, or delay. Sorry, like even if it's only like half a second or even like 0.3, like it's enough when you're playing and timing is an issue. Which
we used to do the thing on here with delaying the microphones, didn't we, and trying to speak, and it just completely messes you up.
The speech jammer, yeah.
Yeah.
That's great fun. For a bit of context, obviously, I don't know if we've ever said it on here. Why we're talking.
I think. So I think we've mentioned it.
We've talked in the past about like me and you doing stuff together musically, and we've done a few things on the Patreon. We've released a couple of like rough demo things. Yeah. But when was it? It was probably last September, October time. We started seriously talking about it. Talking to Corky, who was the drummer in our band, and we've been trying, like we said, we're going to get together, we're going to practice, and we're going to try and book some gigs or something like that. Yeah.
The idea was to get together in November, wasn't it? And it just obviously lockdowns.
November, and then we said, okay, we can do it in January. No, all right, then March. No. Probably not.
Probably not. No.
So we've sort of been practicing, like you and Corky play in bands anyway, either covers band. I think Corky's functions band, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I it's kind of. I think they do functions, but they do gigs as well, by the sounds of it. But you two have been playing, whereas I haven't. So that's why I'm like, my amp works after not turning it on for about 2 years.
Yeah, well, it just happens, doesn't it? You know. I was the same before I started in, the covers band that I'm in. I don't think I'd picked up anything. I hadn't turned on an amp. I hadn't picked up a bass in, I don't know, 5 years.
Yeah,
like a long time. And then you're thrown in with people who know what they're doing, and it's a bit daunting.
Yeah. But no, I think it's good. I mean, the songs, like we've picked 2 songs each to practice. And they're ones that aren't sort of too above us. Like we can play them. And there's some that are sort of like out of our comfort zone as well, that we're not used to playing. And I know I'm really enjoying it. I mean, I've picked up my guitar pretty much every day this week, whether it's only for 10 minutes. That's better than not, or that's better than picking it up once a week for about an hour. Doing it sort of 10, 15 minutes every day. But yesterday, I got my amp. I took out the electronics, got a can of compressed air, cleaned it all, pulled out the fan and cleaned that, stuck it all back together. Yeah, so for about an hour and a half, I just spent, and then picked up the guitar, and it's like, I just miss that sound, man.
Yeah.
Even having it quiet, it's such a good sound. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't crank it yesterday for the kind of videos that we sent each other.
Yeah.
Only because it was getting on into the evening by the time I was doing it.
Yeah. I wouldn't crank it in our house anyway, because we're like a prefab house, so it's all like hollow walls and stuff. So
you get the
sound's
reverberations
going to bounce.
Going.
I mean, it will dampen it. Obviously, the air gap will dampen it somewhat as well, but I don't want to. I'm very aware of noise in a terrace house. No, it's good. Absolutely. I'm really, and like we've all, and like even with me, like in the past, it's kind of you learn a song, you're like, yeah, I know that song, and then we go and try and practice it together. Whereas this time, it's like, yeah, I know that song. I'm going to try and get it better. I'm going to try and It's all I'm playing, to the point where Liz, every time I pick up my guitar and just strum the first chord, Liz just looks at me like, please stop. It's just.
Unfortunately, though, that is the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, to get good, you have to do this. Because when I was doing Sixpence None the Richer, Kiss Me the other night, like when I first started, I was like, oh God, not that song.
Yeah.
And at the end, she was like, oh, I really like your voice and how, and all that. But I didn't want to hear it like half a dozen times. It's like, I need to do it half a dozen times to kind of,
And that's where one of the things, you being the vocalist, it's a bit better because you're playing the bass, but then you're doing this thing. Like especially the one that gets Liz is I Got You, I Feel Good, James Brown.
Right. Yeah,
on the guitar, because it's like like just over and over again. And then, and she's just like, oh my God, stop it. But, once I actually plugged in the amp, and I actually took time to try and find a tone that would sound good with that song, and I found a tone that sounds really good. Like, and it would take minimal sort of adjustments, like if we're playing it live, to actually get it to do that. from where I was with the overdrive stuff. So I'm really looking forward to us like getting that one together, because I think it will sound really good.
Yeah, I mean, I can't do the full bass line and sing it.
It's fucking bonkers.
Because the full bass line requires you to go back over. Yeah.
Bass is ridiculous in it. I sat and listened to it. I was like, oh yeah, he's got a point. I thought I had it hard.
But all I need to do is take out the root note and just do the din, because that's when he's not singing. So I can't then go back and do the burn din. I can't do that extra bit at the end. I can only do the accents. It's or maybe I'll be able to figure it out at some point. But
it's one of those weird ones as well, because I've even thought about it, and I don't know how I would do it about like if I take the vocals, because generally when the guitar's playing, there's no vocals.
Yeah,
like the guitars and the vocals are sort of.
Well,
so it'd be like I'd play it when nothing's
work.
happening, and then I'd stand there and wait for you to sing, and then I'd start playing and stand there and wait for you to sing, and it's like.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So, like in my head, it makes sense. Like maybe I could take the vocals on that one, but it's like I've never sung like in a performance or anything like that to then take on James Brown.
I'm not comfortable singing it just yet. No. Like I feel like it's one of those ones because of his vocal delivery.
Yeah,
you need the full amplification and the full band behind you to actually fight against.
Yeah, and standing in your house, playing the bass and screaming like James Brown is very different. Like you sound like you're going over the top.
I've tried it when I'm on my own.
Yeah.
I would never do it when people were in the house.
Especially
hi, wow.
It's one of those ones. It's like you can't give it your all when you haven't got a whole band there. Because it sounds stupid. Just like you giving it your all and you're just screaming like ridiculous. But it's you need some confidence to go for that.
Yeah, and I also need to figure out exactly how I would sing it if it were me singing it.
Yeah,
because I can't sing like James Brown. Like, I just can't.
And I think that's the thing where we're sort of focusing on covers at the minute. It's like you can't do an impersonation. It has to be us doing those songs.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, we sound like a shit covers band.
Yeah,
like but yeah, it's because that's not what we are.
No.
But yeah,
we're
it's
half of a shit covers band and half of a
yeah, that's it. Shit punk band.
Yeah,
but yeah, but getting into it, and it's next thing for me is because like you and Corky have shared like videos of you two playing, and I get the point, like what Corky was saying, because he's doing like a online drum tutorials, isn't he?
Yeah.
He said like the course he's doing says film yourself so you can analyze how you play, and you can see where you sort of
can see
struggle.
the bits where you're struggling, and you can work on that particular bit more. Yeah. Or be aware of the fact that you're struggling and maybe try and find a workaround. Or
it makes sense as well. And like we could watch each other's videos and go, oh, here maybe, because that's what we used to do when we were practicing together. Was we'd be playing, we go, oh, if you try it, just do this. Oh, you've done that here. Try and we can actually analyze each other's performances and stuff like that. And I've suggested as well, like as we're in lockdown and we can't actually meet up at the minute, about if we can just at some point just record our instruments. Yeah. And then we can maybe try and jam together a video of some sort.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
As long as we're all playing to the same backing track is the thing as well.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Like I think it would have to be done in a recording like way where he would have to, like Corky would have to lay down the beat first.
Yeah. And then we play to his track.
Yeah. I think that would be the only way that it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be more than up for doing that. Then I've got to figure out, like, am I miming into a microphone on this end and then redoing vocals over the top of that? Or,
good point.
You know what I mean? Like, or do I just record a completely separate video
of you singing it? That's how I was. Yeah. That's what I was thinking as well, because it's.
But then it looks weird having one member of the band on there twice. I'll have to change my hair or like put some.
Yeah, but if we put in, if me and Corky put in backing vocals, we can have all of us having a vocal video and all of us having an instrument video. It's
yeah.
It just depends how we do it.
Yeah.
Something to think about. When I was thinking about it, I was just thinking about the music rather than singing as well. But eventually, you would have to do the singing.
It's
did we get here?
Places. But what I quite enjoy is because the other bands that I'm in are generally older people.
Yes.
And at least one of them is definitely not very tech savvy.
Oh yeah.
Like at all.
Yeah.
This kind of thing, I can't do this kind of thing with anyone at the moment.
I feel like I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you probably do. Visualizing that band.
Yes.
And weirdly, it's the one with the most techie.
Oh, really? That's not who I was thinking of. Oh, okay.
Oh, right. Okay. Were you thinking the drummer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I mean, he's got an electric kit in his garage that's constantly set up. I don't think he'd have much problem doing it, actually.
Yeah.
But no, Kev, bless him. We've tried sending MP3s via, Dropbox or whatever, and he can't get his head around.
The guitarist, yeah.
Yeah, the bigger guy.
The bigger guy, yeah. Nathan's dad.
That's it. Yeah. And the guy who will spend an hour.
Yeah, I was like, his setup is like mad. Like he's got fucking like full stack amps and shit. Like
yeah. But when it comes to kind of internet type stuff, I think it's different. Like that's all analog, isn't it? That's all there, and it's twiddling knobs and sliding sliders and stuff.
I mean, it's bonkers. Like these days, you forget there are still people like that. Like I will phone a doctor's surgery for work. They'll answer the phone. Not technical. That's fine. They can do that. They work on a computer all day, like sorting out patients' information. And you're like, can we get a connection to your computer? They're like, yeah, that's fine. Do I need to do anything? You're like, oh yeah, if you just go to this website. And they're like, okay, do I need to open up the internet for that? And you're like,
right, okay,
yes,
yeah.
Because generally, what I do is if you go to and then read out the website address, and they're like, oh, how do I get there? If you've got an internet browser on your computer, they're like, yeah. If you open that and type in this address, okay, I'm there. It's asking for a code. Yeah, fine. Here we go. It's just like, is that on the internet? Yes, everything's on the internet. What are you talking about?
Wow.
But so like we say, we're looking forward to getting this sorted. It's going to take time because it's something we're all sort of doing in our spare time.
I mean, at the end of the day, my freelancing stuff is starting to snowball a little bit at the moment as well. So I've got less and less time during the week, which is fine. It means I'm earning more money.
Yeah.
Well, potentially. I've not seen much in the way of, the invoices coming back yet. But I think in the next couple of weeks, everything that I've done in the last month and a half will start to come through. I think. Yeah.
I don't know if you've looked into it, but I think I've been told and I've seen online, like people who struggle to get their invoices paid basically have a section on their invoice that means this is the deadline. If the money is not received by this time, then it will incur a 10% per week, extra charge. So then that might get people to start paying. Time because you're threatening because it does. If they don't pay the invoice, it affects your life.
Yeah, of course.
You're a business. They would have no troubles fining you for missing a deadline.
Yeah.
So
but the other way around. Yeah. I had the first one that I did, I think I submitted it on the 1st of December and I only got that last week.
Man, that's fucked up that they,
because it took them a month, and at the end of the month I was like, wasn't sure if I was getting it before New Year or because of Christmas and New Year. It was going to be, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we've had people off in the payroll department because of COVID," and I'm like, "Right,
that's not my problem."
And then they were like, "Oh, because you've put a company name and your bank account doesn't match that, we need more information." And it's like, well, why haven't you contacted me?
Yeah. Why have you waited?
Yeah. So I had to wait a month on top of what I should have waited. And then I found out when I did some more work for another company that the person who that I sent my invoice to didn't pass it on. So I might be waiting for another 45 days for that one.
Oh my fucking God.
But I don't know, because I don't know what their payroll situation is. So, and that's quite a hefty sum as well.
That's the danger of doing freelance, I suppose. But I think the more, like the more jobs you get and the further on you get within it, like I've taken these jobs, it's like, you might be waiting 2 months for this one, but the one that you did a month ago is already paid. So that kind of fills in that gap, and but then that's going to make it harder to track your invoices and stuff as well, isn't it?
I mean, I've got an app that's got all my invoices in it.
Bit of QuickBooks.
And they work on... No, I've not got a QuickBooks because you've actually got to pay for that. But I think I might migrate over to it at some point because you can claim that back.
It's a business cost. And I think you can automate stuff with that as well, like send follow-ups and stuff. And you send the invoices from within the app as well, don't you?
So. That's it. Yeah, precisely. So it sends them out. You can send copies of them to yourself. And then what it also does, it works on like a traffic light system almost. So they're blue until they're red by the person who you sent them to. And when they've been red, they go orange.
Yeah.
And then if they're overdue, they go red. If they've been paid, they're green. So, yeah.
But it is good. Like, it is useful. It's a massive learning curve, I suppose, though. But
huge, yeah. I mean, I've never had to sort out my own
invoices
and taxes and like anything. I mean, taxes is going to be interesting, but I've got I've had some help from an accountant who deals with sole traders and stuff. So he sent me like a spreadsheet that he's worked up that works everything out for you, basically, because I'm not a whiz at Excel. I wouldn't be able to do these things that add and subtract and all that kind of on multiple pages. Like if you enter in something over here, it turns up over here and like adjusts.
I can do that. It depends how in depth the formulas need to get, but I can do that sort of stuff now because of work. It's not to do with money generally, but I can if you ever do need to get to that point. But there's stuff that automates that now, so having to work in Excel. I know. QuickBooks
has got the whole lot on it. Like you can put in all your kind of income and expenditures and stuff, and it will sort it out for you. And that's probably where the price tag comes in. Yeah,
and I suppose it builds your profit and loss and stuff like that for you naturally anyway. I know when it comes to taxes, I know my cousin's ex. He was self-employed as like a Windows. Not Windows computer, actual Windows, like a glazer. But I know he used to, for tax-wise, he had a separate bank account that I think it's very different because of how much money is involved, but he basically used to split his money in half. So he didn't do 20%. He went, right, half's going in that account for taxes and half I'm having for myself. So then it did come around to April, he's got all of this money. I don't know if he paid it as it went, but like his rebates used to be insane because he went half and half. So he sort of had a separate bank account that you put money aside for taxes in.
Oh yeah, I've done that. I'm doing 21% because that's what I was told by everyone that I spoke to. They were like, put 21% aside. So
that gives you a buffer. Yeah.
But because frankly, on what I'm being paid at the moment, I don't think I could live on 50-50.
No. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's a bit different because glazing work is a bit different because I think he used to get hired by companies that he's worked for in the past to do a bit of freelance work, Windows installations. Subcontracted. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
but I got my first bit of podcast editing.
Oh, wicked.
Which is quite cool, which just came out of a conversation that I had with one of the PRs that I speak to.
Yeah.
We're talking about an article that I was writing, and then we were just chatting afterwards, and she was like, "Oh, you do podcasts as well, right?" And I was like, "Yep."
Here we go.
Yeah. And so they've got like a series of podcasts they want done in March.
Nice.
They're going to give me a batch of 4 to do. 20 minutes long each. They just want like bumpers,
piece of
editing.
piss.
Yeah, it's gonna take no time at all. But they'd already been offered like £17 an hour, and I was like, well, I'm gonna have to match that then, aren't I? So I don't know, like, yeah, I mean, I know that like with band biographies, for example, I kind of average about an hour for every 10 to 15 minutes of an episode.
Yeah.
So on that, I was like, yeah, a 20-minute episode is probably going to take about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, I assume they're supplying all the bumpers and everything as well.
Well, this is it. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be quite as involved as the stuff that I do with, like, you know, putting in soundtracks and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to have to see how it goes. But, yeah, so hopefully that'll open up to other people. Then I can prove that I'm doing stuff for other people rather than just my own stuff.
Exactly. And I enjoyed, because I did a little bit a few years ago, didn't I? I did a bit of video editing for someone for freelance episode. I really enjoyed that process because I was learning as I did it as well. And at the end of it, I was like, it's not exactly how I wanted, but it'll do. And then the guy loved it. He thought it was brilliant. But
that's it, isn't
I
it?
hardly got any money for that, but you kind of have to start that way, don't you?
That's it. Yeah, I set up a Fiverr and I've had nothing off it.
But
absolutely nothing. Yeah. But, you know, it's one of those things.
Fiverr's so saturated, though.
That's it. Yeah, precisely.
And the people that go to Fiverr, it's people like us who want something done. It's not professional where the money really is going to be.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so yeah, it's all going quite well.
No, I'm glad to hear it.
Which I'm surprised that hopefully I'm picking up something that's a little bit more lucrative fairly soon as well, which should raise I've got 3 or 3.5 regular clients with this one that's going to be added at the end of the month, hopefully.
Yeah.
And that will basically take me back up to news.
Oh, you dropped out. You said take you basically back up to, and I missed what you said.
Pretty much where I was before being made redundant. So
wow.
Yeah. So it's only taken me 2 months to get there. But of course, you know, that could all change if the work dries up or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
You know, it's
but
make
2
hay
months
while the sun shines.
I mean, you gave yourself until what, the summer?
Yeah, the summer or the end of the summer, possibly. It depends. I mean, you know, if I can take a holiday on my car payments, which I don't really want to do.
Yeah.
Then I could go for the foreseeable, basically, till the end of the year, maybe.
But you're pretty much back up to where you were. So,
which means I shouldn't have to.
Which you've still got that buffer that can, if the work does dry up, you've still got a little bit of a buffer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
this is great. Like,
but I've worked out I've got to to properly get back to where I am. I've got to work a little bit. I've got to get some more. You know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You want. Yes, so like your payment, like in the next couple of months, might be what you were, but if something dries up, you're going to drop down. So you kind of want to be a little bit above where you were.
Yeah.
To make it all sort of sit right. But no, it's really good to hear though. That's brilliant. And you set your own hours and working from home. I mean, not great, but what you can do.
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing about it is that, like, you know, I sit in my kitchen and do the job.
Yeah.
And then I eat in here later on.
Yeah. I just need to plug my laptop in. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
So we've got a low battery warning. It scared me.
Uh-oh. I've got my power cable like literally set up right next to.
Normally I plug it straight in, but I didn't today for some reason. And then I saw the notification. I was like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are, like you say, you're pretty much bound to that one room.
Yeah, and it's I've started to get a bit cabin feverish in the last month or so, I think. I'm sure you feel similarly.
Yeah. I do miss the thing is I am an introvert. I like my space. I sit and work at my dining room table as you are now, but we don't eat at the dining room table, which I would like to do, but we can't. Like, there's so much stuff on our dining table. Like Liz, where I'm sat now, Liz normally works, and I work sort of like diagonally opposite her. Yeah, so her stuff's all here, my stuff's all there. Yeah, I have to have two screens because of the work I do. Yeah, so like there's also a fucking TV there, like a portable TV. So it does get a bit much.
It is what it is, though, and I suppose
getting out and about and seeing people.
Once everything's kind of, once offices open back up again, it will be a different story, won't it? If I mean, this is the thing, like it works.
Well, that was weird. Issue. Like, technical issue as in my laptop turned off because apparently I hadn't plugged it in properly.
This is the second time this has happened to me this weekend.
Oh, really? Podcasts. Oh, what, people just ducking out?
Yeah. For unknown technical issues.
Oh, no, mine was known. So.
Yeah, but you plugged it in.
I plugged it in and the prompts disappeared.
And then it still ran out of battery.
Yeah, it just wasn't plugged in properly, fully. Enough that the computer knew there was a cable there, but not enough for it to tell me, you dickhead, plug it in properly. Getting nothing here.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
My other one was with a guy from Sham 69.
Oh, right.
I was do for band biographies on Friday night, and he lives in the back of Beyond, and his internet just dropped out halfway through a conversation. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with that, because we did get back on and finish the conversation. But, how annoying.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. I mean, I was going to say that's the thing with doing this remotely is you're sort of like technical issues are going to happen. But I mean, we used to get it in the pod as well, so that's not really an excuse, is it?
Many a time we got to the end of a recording and realized that like it hadn't recorded, or there were random bits of buzz that came in and out and all that great stuff.
Yeah, it's so annoying. Really fucking annoying. But where were we? I don't know.
Things are going all right.
Yeah.
Office spaces would be nice to go back to.
Yes.
It's just it's
just for that little bit of routine normality.
For a change of scenery, actual interaction with people is something that I'm massively missing.
Yeah, hugely. I'm not. Again, I'm an introvert, so I'm not usually about going out and seeing people. But every so often, it's nice.
Yeah. And although on your terms.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'd be nice to have the option to say no. That's the thing. But it's like we do get these social interactions over Zoom and stuff like that with other people. It's just it's just not the same. Like
the thing about
with
Zoom
this is like we have to set up the laptop, we have to set everything up, make sure it's all working, then we sat there. It's very different to be able to just. And I think we like with the podcast meetups we do, it's sort of like we're all talking to each other, and then if someone talks, everyone else has to stop while they're.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
If we like the barbecue thing we used to do at Adams, is we could go, maybe 6 or 7 of us, if that. But you could have different pockets of people having separate conversations, and It's
Well,
just such a different
that's
feel.
how general kind of mass meetings work, isn't it? Not everyone sits and listens to one person, because that would be actually a little bit weird.
Yeah.
You do kind of break off into subsections and have separate conversations and what have you, and little asides. So yeah, it's the whole Zoom thing when there's multiple people on there. It's why I quite like the fact that we play the games, because I think that keeps entertained.
It's a focus, isn't it? It's
yeah. But I do prefer having a chat sometimes, but there can only be a maximum of maybe 4 people, because otherwise it gets a little bit like lots of people sit there waiting for their turn, and it doesn't feel right,
Yeah. And like I do love those meetings. Like I was I was going to say, and there's this, but to be fair, it's not a massive thing. It's important. It's just me grasping for another point to make that doesn't need making.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's just about the fact that everyone else in the group, like their film podcasters, they have that in common, which I do like films, but not to that extent. But it's not like I ever feel left out. Like I love listening to them chat about it. Like that's why, not being a film fan, that's why I do love to listen to their film podcast, because I love listening to people talk about things they're passionate about. It's and that was just me grasping it for another point, and it didn't need making at all. And I had to say it because I didn't want to leave it at like people that listen and go, well, what is this problem? Why doesn't he like it? Like, and I'm aware like there was a podcast meeting that happened like a couple of days ago that I didn't go to because it's because I was studying. It's not so. Do you know what? Not being at that meeting, coupled with me going, and there's no, I won't say that actually. It's just like, is he not into it anymore? So it wasn't that at all. It's just a real fucking amalgamation of like bad things. Like, hang on a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I couldn't make that one, mainly because I had to get up quite early in the morning, and I know that those things can, you can get carried away, and all of a sudden it's like 2:00 in the morning.
And you don't realise because you're having so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. No, they definitely kept us sane this year. Yeah. But I would so much prefer to be in the company of those people physically.
Oh, for sure. And do you know what's really weird as well? It's like this pandemic's happened, and I've actually talked to those guys more than I would have done any other year.
Yeah, but it's also like it highlights a point that you can just talk to people whenever you want. Like, a little bit it shouldn't be necessarily be like a special occasion. It should just be.
It's a conversation I had with a doctor on the phone the other day while I was sort of fixing his computer, and it's just like this whole pandemic, as much of a pain as it's been, it's just shown us what people are capable of, how adaptable we are. Yeah. Certainly. It's just shown us that we don't need to be stressed about getting to the office and doing our work, and you don't have to be in that sort of 9 to 5 of it. Like, that is my job, but I'm at home and I can do it at home, and then I can... laptop's turned off, I'm home. If I need a 10-minute break, I can go sit on my sofa, or I can go make myself. It's less what I tend pressure to do now.
If I've done like an interview or something, rather than go straight in and kind of pop it all up and try and do it, I will then go away, and I'll either take a break and watch some TV, or I'll go out for a run and get my thoughts centered.
Separate yourself from the interview for a moment.
Then come back to it with a little bit more fresh ideas and fresh perspectives on it. I know that not everyone can do that, because like, for example, you've got to man phone lines and what have you, but,
and I'm lucky, and not that you don't enjoy what you do, because you do enjoy what you do, but it's a totally different thing. I enjoy my work, because my work is a lot of investigation, trying to figure out what's solving puzzles and shit like that. And it's but if I'm working hard and I feel like, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm like, just feel like I'm overloaded, I will just pop into one of the group chats that's going on and just talk to people for 5-10 minutes, or like you say, take 5-10 minutes away from the computer. I love it. And I'm doing that with my studying as well. Like, I'll be reading, where I used to like when I did my psychology module years and years ago, I would sit there for like an hour solid, just reading and taking notes and reading. Whereas now it's like I'll read a section and then I'll put the book down and I'll think about it and I'll try and make sense of it. And then I'll go back to it and then I'll just hop. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not just constantly studying. And that's how I approach like doing stuff around the house, housework as well. So I will do something solid for 10, 15 minutes and then I'll sit down for 5 minutes. Because whereas Liz is just constantly on the go, she will work and work and work until it's all done and then sit down. I can't do that. I have to sit, have a thought. What am I going to do next? Like, that's just how my mind works. And being freelance as you are, and yes, you have deadlines, but they're not like this needs to be done in the next hour. It's you've got that, and you're working for yourself as well. So you've got no one shouting at you, holding you accountable. Like you're accountable to yourself. You're accountable to yourself.
I want to do a great job for everyone that I'm working for, but at the same time, like I have on occasion been like, I don't feel like doing anything today at all.
Yes,
and so I don't,
which is great.
and that frees you up for the next day because you're coming at it like not even like, oh, I missed a day, I've got to work doubly hard.
Yeah,
like, oh, I've recharged and I can do it today.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's good that like you can track where you are with your work, so you can track if you need to work harder or not. Like there's no pressures as such. Like you can take a day off and be okay with it. Like
early on I stressed out at like I've I'm not in the mood, but I have to because that's what you do.
But I think early on as well is like you didn't have as much work. You weren't sure if it was going to work. So you needed to put everything into it to get it off the ground. Now it's off the ground, you can relax a little bit because you know you've got the work, you know you've got that money coming. Like, yes, it might not be as much as you want, but it's enough for you to survive on at the minute. Like you've got that luxury. You've got that sort of comfort blanket, so to speak. So
exactly. Yeah, so
it's great.
It's all it's all it's just like I say, the one thing that I do need to do every now and then is kind of get out. And I mean, I was even listening to a podcast called Insane in the Membrane yesterday, and there was a guy on there who was like he's a therapist and he works with children who are finding it difficult to study, at the moment. And he was saying, to some of the ones that kind of struggle with the delineating kind of home from work environment is to get up at the time that you go to school, walk around the block, come back home, and that's your commute then. That's you going to school or going to work.
That's a really good idea.
Just to kind of get you in that frame of mind of like, I've left my house and now I'm arriving at work.
I'll tell you what, Chloe's school, the first lockdown, we weren't impressed with how they handled it and stuff like that. We didn't think they did the right things, but they were constantly on at us. She hasn't done that. Here's the work, do this, do it. And all the work was scattered all over the internet.
Yeah.
But this time they seem to have sort of honed it in. Like they're doing the Zoom lessons, but say like they have a 50-minute block, like 20 to 25 minutes of that is Zoom lessons.
Yeah.
And then when we had a parents' evening, I said to one of the teachers, I said, like, is there any homework? Because she says like she's not being given any homework, but we thought you'd be giving them stuff to do outside. They were like, no. Well, they do the Zoom lessons, and for us that's enough. So they can have that bit of time off. And like Chloe will get on like a group chat, like a FaceTime with her friend, and they'll just sit and chat and they'll play a little game, and then they will they will make sure they're there for the next lesson. And sometimes the lesson, they haven't got a Zoom lesson, they've got some online learning to do at a certain time. And Chloe has been doing that as well. Like, I think by not giving them the homework and not saying, okay, so you've got 25 minutes, that means you've got another 25 minutes of lesson time that you must read, you must do this. It's kind of like, just relax, enjoy yourself. They've been really good with that. And like Liz has written a routine with Chloe. Get up at this time. You've got to do this. You've got to do that, and then get there for you. And she will. She'll get there. And I've said to her, sit at your desk because then it's different. Because then that's where you work. But she finds it more comfortable to sit on her bed and do it. So she's just, and we're not putting too much pressure on her either to do it.
Yeah.
We're just letting her do what she wants, do it how she wants to do it. And she's been doing brilliantly. And for a kid that finds it difficult to focus, we've been so impressed with how she's handled it. And she's grown up a hell of a lot this last year. Yeah.
Well, I suppose in a way it's the same as all of us, isn't it? It's getting used to a new routine and making it work for her.
Yeah.
In the same way that we're trying to make it work for us.
I've brought a planner for myself. It's a big it's lovely. I love it. It's stationery. It's really nice. Look it up. It's the Circle Planner. It's great. But it's like a year-long planner, and it has this week's focus and its tasks and stuff. So I'm starting to write down, I want to practice guitar this many times a week. I want to study this many days a week. So it's habit tracking and stuff like that. Okay. And I'm physically filling stuff in it's week by week. I'm physically filling stuff in that needs doing. And it's helping me keep on track, and I'm making sure I'm studying every day for an hour at least. I make sure I sit and read for half an hour as well, which it's just things to switch off and just relax. Make sure I put in, I want to work out 3 times a week. That's enough for me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm learning how to organize myself and stuff. It's mad. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
The lockdown there is some good to it.
Yeah, I think we've been saying it all throughout the last year, isn't it? Admittedly, it's not the same for everyone, and we're quite aware that we're both lucky to be able to do the jobs that we do from home.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah.
And that home is big enough for all of us, and we have enough technology that means we can all do our own separate things, and we've got gardens, but it's not all doom and gloom, is it? It's finding new ways of doing things. You and I have both got new jobs during 2020.
Mad, isn't it?
And are having a better time of it, I feel.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting year, and I can't believe it's nearly a full calendar year now.
Oh, it's fucked up, man. I was thinking the other day, at this time last year, we were like, oh, has it made it to England yet?
Yeah.
There's been a couple of cases in England. Oh, be careful. This time last year is wow. It's we'd known about it for 3 months already.
Yeah. I have a feeling this time last year, Joe and I did a ABH.
Yeah.
And we went through a list of other diseases and pandemics that had gone on in the past, because we were
you did, didn't you? Yeah. You did a pandemic episode.
It was a little bit tongue-in-cheek almost, and literally a month later I remember apologizing because I was we had no fucking clue how this was going to go.
We did make light of it.
I
think we all made light of it and didn't foresee what was coming, and I think loads of people were the same. And it's just a case of now you look back and you're oh, whoops.
Yeah, but ill judged.
I think us two have been extremely fortunate to an extent, and fortunate enough that we live with people we like and we can spend time with. It's not easy for everyone. Do you know what I mean? And Liz is doing the usual, sort of just getting on with it, which is great, and making us go out at least once a week for family walks. We are going out. We've been doing 5K walks, which we're not running as a family. I've not been running because of the injuries. I always end up with injuries, which stops me doing any other form of exercise. So I'm finding stuff that works for me. But we're going out, getting a bit of fresh air, trying to walk to the supermarkets and stuff like that, because it's just we're not getting exercise at all. I'm under no illusion that my new job is the cause of the weight I've put on, or a massive contributor to it, but it is what it is. But we've been very, very fortunate that we've been able to just adapt so easily. It suits me as well. Because the thing is, it's what I'm worrying about is I don't have the pressure of, oh, we're going to go here on this day, we're going to go here on that day. So I can fit in everything I want to do. But once it all starts opening up again, it's we're going to go and meet this person and that person. It's just like, right, how are we going to fit this in? How am I going to fit everything I want to do in still whilst also doing this? And it becoming a bit too much. That's one of the things with like when we actually do practice together as a band, it's like I need to figure out how I'm going to fit that in with everything else I want to do, because this is something I really want to do. So it's sort of,
But you don't want it to unbalance.
Yeah, and I don't want band practice to be tainted by the fact that I feel pressured into doing it because it's something I genuinely want to do. Yeah,
I think it's one of those things like, with both of the bands I am in previous to this, it was like they were sometimes both practicing once a week.
Yeah,
and I think like there was a need for that because both of them were starting to kind of get more bookings.
Yeah.
And equally I took over on vocals for the covers band, so I needed more practice.
Yeah.
But I certainly wouldn't want to do that again after this.
No.
Especially not with all three bands.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, the drummer is supposed to be like, he was supposed to have gone off during 2020 around the world in a camper van.
Yes.
That's been put on hold, and as far as I'm aware, him and his wife are still planning to do that. So who knows what's going to happen with any of that.
I think
it's a shame because all the bands are on a bit of a roll, like especially the punk band were starting to get like decent support slots and stuff like that. It just kind of like we were about to go and record a CD and you're just like, like everything was taken away last year, and it's just a bit galling. But when is Smokey's 40th birthday? Is it 2 years time now?
I don't know, maybe.
I feel like
we're getting less and less time to fucking get ready for this.
No. But I was going to say, like, once a month feels doable.
Yeah, for sure.
Get together.
Yeah, and I think, like was discussed last night in the group chat, is like the conversation in that chat has been miles from what it used to be.
Yeah,
miles from what it used to be. It's just like Joe.
Sorry.
Like Corky was, like we said, that James Brown, it's a bit tricky, and he was like, if you want to give it, just drop it and I'll find another song that I'd like to do. And we were like, no, we'll give it a go. We don't want to just write it off now. And it's words, the perseverance, but it's just that they're like letting, like, I really want to do this, but if it doesn't work for everyone, fuck it, we just drop it. And it just feels a hell of a lot more relaxed, and like I feel good in knowing, like, and I know back then it would have been like probably the same, but especially now I feel more comfortable, like if we are struggling with it and we're feeling it's too much, like it would be okay. Like,
I think as well, like especially for me, knowing how good Corky is on bass was a source of frustration for him and me. Because I wasn't as good as he is. And equally, he wasn't a brilliant drummer.
No.
So like you had two people in a three-piece band both playing instruments that they weren't brilliant at. And knowing that
I come off it, there's three of us. Like I can get by on the guitar, and it was my instrument of choice. I wasn't brilliant at it by any long shot, but
but I know that, especially for me, I felt a lot of pressure.
I felt comfortable playing the guitar. I think that's the difference, isn't it? Like, whereas you and Corky, it was kind of,
And it was nice. He gave me really nice feedback last night, even though the videos that I posted, every single one of them I wasn't really happy with, because there were bits that I was like, well,
I've loved watching those videos though, because seeing both of you go at points, it's great. Like sort of wincing.
But that's what's quite nice. It's like both of us are still like I think it's weird because when you practice on your own, you're not filming yourself, you don't feel that pressure. But knowing that I was going to post that directly to the pair of you, it puts that kind of gig mentality back in, and you're like, you get that nerve.
But that's a good thing. And I'll tell you what, like Corky just posting those videos definitely put me at ease because I wasn't sure what level he'd reached.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was just like, oh fuck, and especially and you as well. It's like you're both playing bands and you have for a long time. I haven't. But seeing that you're both still making mistakes and you're and I'm like, okay, I'm good. I feel much better now. Especially. Yeah, I feel much better. Corky's, have you seen Corky's elbow? It's
really kind of elbow thing. Yeah,
it's great. I love it.
It was nice to get that feedback last night off him.
Yeah,
encouragement, because I don't think it was like that before.
No. I didn't feel like it, at least. Like it probably was there.
Yeah, I think so. But because it's all a bit glass ego time at that point as well,
wasn't it? Yeah.
And I don't have that anymore, and there's no pressure on this anymore. Yeah. So it's a totally different. And everyone's grown up. Like he's had a kid as well, which has matured him a bit. Yeah. Yeah, Joe said to me that, there was a point at which he took her aside and was like, he's not good enough at what he's playing. And,
really?
Yeah. She never told me until last night, and that, he needs to take it more seriously and this, that, and the other.
Really?
Which sounds like...
That. Yeah, sounds like Corky back then.
Corky back then, but also any one of us coming off a bad gig.
For sure.
Because I know I had to take myself off a couple of times and be like, that was fucking bollocks. Like one of us, whether it was me or one of you two, that I was like...
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I don't think I ever... No, I suppose there probably was at times. Yeah, there probably was, yeah. Especially that last one where I just completely forgot the chorus. I was just like, I don't know. Like I used to beat myself up about it, but at the same time, I was like, I've got to make a joke out of it. Like I've got to sort of cover it up somehow.
I think we were far too serious about it all, and a little bit too not competitive, but we were. It wasn't.
But back then we wanted to make it something. We wanted to try and progress, and we put too much pressure on ourselves and not having enough fun is the issue.
Yeah, exactly. But also what I've learned is that people don't notice mistakes that you do when you're playing. So as long as you don't react like you've made a massive cock up.
Liz used to constantly tell me that.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I know. Joe
she's
did
like,
as well.
Did you? I didn't notice it. Yeah. You should stop. Or like when we do it, why do you keep mentioning that you made mistakes? Like nobody noticed. I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
And she knew the song. She'd seen us loads of times. But
exactly. Yeah.
It's like, but we noticed it.
Certainly as a front man, I know that it's not good anymore to be self-deprecating. That you can be self-deprecating in a jokey way.
Yeah.
But don't end the show with we've been high frequency and we've been shit.
Or we have been your cool down band.
Yeah.
As opposed to headliner, we've been the cool down band.
I'd much prefer to just be like, we are the best band on this lineup.
Yes.
And be like that rather than the other way around, I think. And
that was so funny.
So it's it's a complete, different change in headspace and stuff. And I like the fact that we're all a lot more kind of in the same boat and kind of relaxed about it.
It's a good laugh. It's going to be a laugh, yeah.
Fucking looking forward to getting in a room.
Massively.
Even if we have to wear masks in there, like whatever, it'll be good fun.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Speaking of music, have you heard the new Foo Fighters album yet?
No. I've seen your tweets and stuff about it, and yes, it's.
I mean, I always look forward to a new album by the Foo Fighters because I am a fan of the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, but the last two or three.
Yeah. They're just, I don't know, man. I don't know what's happened. I know that...
They released an EP a couple of years ago that was really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know they released like loads of like kind of archivey stuff, and they
Maybe
all
that's
had
what
like
it was I'm thinking of.
tons of numbers after themselves. And it
Yeah.
was that kind of thing. But I think a lot of that was kind of, B-sides and rarities and live versions of things.
That may be what I'm thinking of, to be fair.
You might have seen something that I didn't, but it's just because I forgot what the last album was even called until the other night.
Concrete
I
and Gold.
own it. Yeah, I own it. And I don't think I could name a song off it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I liked... Yeah, because The Sky is a Neighborhood was the first single off of it, wasn't it? Which
That's
wasn't
right.
too bad. And Dirty Water's a really good song. Other than that, I'm not sure what else on there sounds like. Run, possibly. Sonic Highways was good. Wasting Light was really good.
I wasn't a big fan of Sonic Highways, if I'm honest.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like literally Wasting Light was the last one that I listened to and was like, oh, this is mainly good.
Okay, yeah. The thing that I thought was an EP, I think, is all those numbers that you're talking about.
Yeah, I think they released like loads of those, like all over. I think there's like 10 of them or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, there might be new material on there. I don't really know because they kind of they released a whole load of stuff at once, and I was like, well, I don't know what any of this is.
Okay. Oh, so it looks like they are all sort of EPs, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's multiple songs on each one. Yeah, it must have been one of those I listened to. I don't know which one it was, but I liked what I listened to.
Yeah. This one, like I say, the first song is all right, but it sounds exactly like another song. Like it literally is like it's got the female chorus in the background and the kind of big it sounds exactly like Alive and Amplified by the Mooney Suzuki.
Oh, okay.
Which is a great song.
Yeah. So it's a good song, but it's somebody else's.
yeah, it was too much like something else. And then there really is only other one song that really stood out.
Yeah.
I've listened to it a couple of times now, and I just don't know, man. Like, I know our friend Pete also said like he put it on and then went and did stuff and forgot he was listening to it. Like, it's just background, and that's not what that band was. Not
at all. They did anthems, like when you got songs like Pretender and stuff like that, and like I mean even that much older stuff. But I mean, what like which album was it? There's one that's just like so good. I think it probably is Wasting Light. Was such a good album.
It had like Rope and White Limo and things like that. It was a real return, I thought, to like a kind of harder like sound.
In Your Honor, like that, those albums are just like iconic, aren't they? Like that was when they were just blowing up on Radio 1 and became massive. But I think all bands sort of go that way, don't they?
Yeah, and I'm not against bands evolving their sound and what have you at all.
Yeah.
There are some bands that stick to a formula and that works, and there are some bands that,
completely change.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that can work. And I'm sure
an example being AFI, like,
yes.
Everyone knows like I'm AFI fanboy, but I haven't been like that for years. But like the last sort of like 5 albums they've released have all been completely different from everything. But all of them have a majority of the songs sort of stand on their own as really good songs. Like, I don't know if you've listened to the Blood EP.
I haven't. I need to.
It's so good. It's like more like the older stuff. It's like really heavy. It's such a good album.
Oh, right.
But it's not something I listen to a lot, but it's really good. But like you said, they change every album to album, and they always have done, really. I mean, you listen to the first stuff, they were a hardcore punk band.
Yeah, like proper thrashy, like...
Yeah, and then Crash Love was like a new romantic sort of era, wasn't it?
And they kind of went through that kind of pop punky goth punk stage as well, with like from kind of Black Sails through to, well, especially the
one
with
The Art of Drowning.
No, after that.
Why can't I remember what it's called? I can see the album cover. Sing the Sorrow.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
yeah.
That for me was my first. That was the first time I heard them.
Yeah, I think I'd heard Days of the Phoenix when I was at college. Someone wanted me to put it on a mix CD for them, and I didn't. I was like, "Oh, this is really cool," and I didn't really listen to any more of it. And then Girls Not Grey came out and was all over sort of Scuzz and Kerrang, and I really liked it. So yeah, Sing the Sorrow was the first sort of album I listened to. But then I remember listening to The Art of Drowning in Stuart's car. I was just like, just blown away. Like, this is my band. This is, you know what I mean? And then fast forward to like nowadays, and I'm listening to Sigrid nonstop. I don't think there's a song of hers I don't like. Like, I will stick a playlist on while I'm at work, and I will listen to it all day. Like, I will listen to every song like 5 times. I don't know. I just can't get bored of it.
Yeah. It's just catchy, infectious pop stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Massively so.
And this again, it's like, it's that maturing your taste or not maturing. I don't know. Like, it's, I don't know, widening. It's
widening your taste, and it's being okay with liking stuff that your friends probably don't like.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when they make fun of you about it, going, yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's like, I know people who are dead into like AC/DC, for example, and I just do not understand it. I don't. Yeah. I've never ever understood the appeal of that band.
Yeah, the girl at work.
They've got great songs, but I couldn't listen to the whole fucking album of it because it's all the fucking same. It's the same 3 chords.
A girl, the woman at work, Amy, she got AC/DC released an album like last month.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
And she sort of went in and was like, "How did I not know about this? It's fucking amazing!" In like either WhatsApp or Discord. And I was like, "Oh, I'll give that a listen to." I got about 5 songs in. I'm like, "Is this still the first?" Like, I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, they've got a definite.
It's fine.
Formula
It's fine. It's much like Pete said, probably with the Foo Fighters. I stuck it on and I just got about my business and wasn't really paying attention to it because nothing caught my attention and made me want to listen. And then I turned it off and was like, okay, cool. I won't be listening to that again. Like,
I just don't like the guy's voice, man. Like,
too much. Like, I can listen to Back in Black and I will.
Yeah. Back in Black.
Great.
And maybe Highway to Hell.
Oh, for sure.
There are some definite like classics, but not a band I could listen to indefinitely.
Not at all. Not by a long shot. But yeah, and I think that's something that's going to help with like this new sort of incarnation of us. Me, you, and Corky
is having those kind of
different like, yeah, we're learning these pop pump songs, but also Corky's coming and gone, shall we learn this funk soul song,
classic funk song?
And let's what about this classic sort of rock song? You've come in with your like, let's put some classic punk in there as well, and it's like, and I was just gone, how about some pop punk and some pop punk? But no, I did Sixpence None the Richer, Kiss Me, but I was like, we could do the Newfound Glory version, whatever.
Yeah, which I need to get to grips with because I haven't really listened to it. But
yeah, whereas I learnt the Newfound Glory one, and I'm trying to get to grips with the original.
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, but the other thing that I really used to enjoy doing was taking current pop songs and making them our own anyway. So like, that's one of the things that I'm quite enjoing having a look at.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back onto that and doing some like modern now ones. I think one of my favourite songs that we used to do was Lady Gaga, Paparazzi. Like, yeah, I loved that. I thought it was great.
I wish I could remember how to play it.
Yeah, me too, but
it's not current anymore. So yeah.
Maybe we can do a pop punk version of Shallow.
From
Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
Oh right, yeah. The Star Is Born song.
Yeah. Have you seen that film? That film's dark.
No,
that's fucking dark, man.
I haven't watched any of the versions of A Star Is Born, which is probably.
We've only just watched that one, and it's I liked it. It was dark as fuck. Seriously. But yeah, I'm just trying to see if but he's not.
Yeah, we're waiting on someone so that we can go and do essentially a spoiler cast.
I mean,
but we're not sure whether he's going to be up for it, like literally up.
Yeah, exactly. All I'm going to say as a tease to it. I mean, we can say what it is. It's spoiler cast 4, but all I'm going to say is we, potentially could come into quite a bit of money in the near future.
Yeah, we can try and
get some money out of the mouse's pocket.
Bang that drum. Be
for
like,
our ideas.
3 years ago, we were saying this.
Yeah.
Where's our cheddar? I'm sure that they'd be like, yeah, but you're literally just taking the idea from the comic and inverting it. And it's like,
we're like, yeah. So it's different. It's our idea now.
It's ours. We've had no response from Disney Plus yet.
Disney Plus or Marvel Studios, no, they've not. They've not tweeted us back about it. Yeah. Maybe we need to promote the tweet to get a bit of traction.
Maybe, yeah, we'll pay for a bit.
I realised that I took a screenshot. So we're talking about like 3 years and 3 months ago. I think you said it was it? Or 3 years and 2 months?
December 2017.
We released an episode called Reverse House of M, which looks like it might be coming to fruition. Potentially. Yeah. They're definitely hinting at it. Talking about WandaVision on Disney Plus. If anyone's watching it, it's amazing what they're doing. But what I did for our tweet, rather stupidly, was I took a screenshot of our website and tweeted the picture rather than tweeting a direct link to the episode.
Maybe we should rectify that in the meantime as well.
Yeah, maybe actually point people towards our podcast.
The content, yeah.
Bonkers. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this chat. So.
Yeah, so am I. I hope he is setting an alarm.
Yeah, but I suppose rather than sort of dragging us out and torturing our listeners anymore while we're sitting waiting, take a bit of a break while we wait for him, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't see why not. And but yeah, also, I mean, we haven't touched on anything that's happened in the last 2 months in real life, have we? And it's there's been some interesting stuff going on.
Yeah,
really weird shit. Like literally a month ago was the Capitol riots.
Yeah, we haven't touched on that. And yeah, when we had Andrew on last time, we sort of wanted to talk to him about that, but we'd already had plans of what we were going to talk about, just to get an American's perspective on it. Yeah, it was bizarre, that whole storm in the Capitol thing.
I know it's old news now.
Yeah, the fact it was egged on by the current president at the time.
Yeah,
and then he condemned it, but not massively.
But after he was forced to do it.
After he was forced to do it, and like when you see the pictures comparing sort of like the Black Lives Matter sort of sitting protests at the Capitol, where there's just like armed police all up the steps, and then you've got like
a bloke dressed as a bear.
Yeah, it looks like something out of Far Cry. But then you get those guys, sort of like the white supremacists, essentially coming out like waving weapons and shit like that. And there's like one police officer stood on the steps, and you got another police officer letting them pass the barricade, and you're like,
yeah, some people like still cops argue, literally letting them in.
How can people still argue over the Black Lives Matter movement? It's crazy. And you see like people in the sort of chambers.
It's unreal.
Nah. Yeah, it was a bit bizarre. It was such a surreal couple of months then, but
yeah. One of the best things though is that we never have to hear about Trump every day.
Yeah, and you know what's really nice is Biden's now in office and not really hearing a lot. Other than he's reversed
he's just kind of getting on with,
and they're back on the climate accord, and everything seems to be going right.
Yeah, I mean, we still don't really know what a lot of his policies are because politics isn't. I mean, this is a conversation I was having with Andrew before we started recording.
Yeah,
couple of weeks back. But
Yeah.
politics is run on personality now rather than policies. But he can't be making it worse, can he? He can only be making it better by just being quiet and getting on with the job rather than going and playing golf every week.
The last tweet I saw of his, I think maybe yesterday or the day before, was like 2 weeks in office now and everything's good. Like that was brilliant. Like,
yeah, because there was a while back there where I was like, "There's just going to be unrest for days, if not weeks."
Yeah,
but it seems to have dispersed quite quickly.
Yeah, well, the Trump supporters are just quiet now. Like, not really hearing much from them, and it's like,
yeah. It does make me wonder when or if various social media sites reinstate Trump, whether or not it stirs up again and whether or not he will run again in 4 years' time. I think he'd be a fucking idiot too, but he's
he's a fucking idiot. So
support. Yeah, well, yeah, there is that too. Oh man,
but yeah,
hopefully that's the back of him.
I do hope so. What's happening with his impeachment? Like, did they have the hearing? Or
I don't know. That's all gone quite quiet as well.
Yeah, because the impeachment basically will be the deciding factor of whether he runs again or not. So he, I'm sure he will if he's allowed to, without a doubt.
Yeah. I just hope that he gets properly impeached and all his because they get pensions, right? The presidents, they get like a pension of $300,000 a year or something ridiculous like that
for sitting in office,
and they get the advantage, and they get advantages of like presidential security and things like that, even after they're not the president.
Yeah, you still get private jets chartered for them and stuff, don't they? And they get the Secret Service bodyguards, and he'll lose all of that, which would be great.
And I hope he does.
Yeah, he deserves to. But yeah. Oh well. Right.
So that's 2021.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Let's get on. There is a delay on this as well. I've noticed.
It's only
more and more.
Yeah. The video. It's only with the video.
And it's starting to bleed over a little bit, which is making it a bit awkward. So let's finish the episode here, shall we? With the good news that Trump is fucked off and we don't have to bother about him anymore.
Yeah, which everyone knows about, but we haven't talked about it. So
yeah. But we're still happy about it.
Massively.
Right. So until next time then, I've been Tom.
I've been Ant. Bye.
Bye.